What you are about to witness is the conception of a podcast right out of thin air. Follow us as we grow. Let's start the show. Welcome to the podcast. This is our first ever podcast together. I'm your host, Myles Brown.
And my name is Amir Browder.
And today we are going to kick it off with some intros. Get to know us. I'm Myles Brown. I own and operate a couple businesses in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, better known as the DMV. I own a cleaning company called Senate Cleaning. I also paint. You can check out my stuff on MylesABrownGallery.com, and that's Myles with a Y. I also hold patents. So the more this podcast goes on, we're going to dive deeper into intellectual property and how I feel like that's the new real estate. And that's enough for me right now. You can get more later.
Oh man, you didn't say enough, man. You didn't say enough. But my name's Amir Browder. I'm the owner and curator of Own DC. It's a platform for independent and emerging artists of all disciplines. I've been established in this creative field since 2014, as far as a kind of retail space. I started off at the Anacostia Art Center, and now here at 52L Street, Northwest DC. And we're going to give you some really cool topics and talk about some really interesting things that have ran across your timeline or run across just things in general that can make your week a little cooler.
Cool. So let's jump right into our first topic, and the recent slaying of the young rapper Takeoff.
Oh God,
really a tough one, but also not really, I would say, surprising in today's day and time. I think we see more rappers, like they say rapping is one of the most dangerous occupations in America right now, you know?
And I don't know what to say about that. I'm from the old school. Y'all can do the math. I was born in 1979, so y'all can figure that out. And as far as when I was coming up, the biggest rappers that were killed were, of course, Biggie and Tupac. Eazy-E and Big L and Big Pun died of pretty much natural causes in a sense. You know what I mean? But the murders is so shocking and so jarring that it doesn't even seem like it's real, because when I was growing up, rappers were like, you don't touch a rapper, like he's not doing anything.
They're not in the streets.
Yeah, he's just telling a story about the streets.
Exactly.
Like, leave the rapper alone. Like he's a poet.
Most
Let
definitely.
the poet rock. You know what I mean? And now it's like the rappers are so gun-ho, no pun intended, on being like living what they're talking about.
Yeah. And it's crazy to me because like I started to see the pickup in murders when drill music came out. Like gangster rap, there were deaths of rappers.
Of course.
But I don't think I started to see like one a week or something like that until drill music. And I used to listen to a lot of like the academics. He would like follow the drill music scene and
the war in Chirac. War in Chirac, of course.
And it's almost like they made mockery of death.
So we gotta get into it if we're gonna talk about that. You gotta understand what Chicago is.
Yeah.
Chicago's gangs.
Yeah.
You talking about from Al Capone on up to the what's the gentleman in jail now? Is it Larry Hoover?
Yeah.
Larry Hoover. Like that's Chicago. You know, my father's from Chicago.
Okay.
And it is a different type of animal out there. So I don't think it has to do with black or white. I think that's the way their
culture is.
That's the culture. Like, and with the internet and things like that, people think, oh, it's just drill music, things of that nature. No, They would be doing this if they did not have drill music.
I feel you. But it's the glorification.
Yes.
Because I'm seeing drill music make more of a way in other states now. Because it's not just tapped into Chicago. It's in New York now. New York has their own version of drill music, now New York has always been the streets, but the gang affiliations I feel like have kind of broadened,
Yeah, well, see, I got a couple guys who put me on to a lot of game when it comes to this jewelry. I have a friend of mine, and he'll be on this podcast also. His name is Mark. He's an amazing artist, and we grew up together. I known him for about 32 years of my life, and we're big hip hop fans, aficionados, whatever you want to call it. And he put me on to the London drill scene. Now this is back in 2007.
Don't they call it grime?
There you go.
Yeah,
you got it. It's that same beat, that Pop Smoke beat.
Most definitely. And my thing is, I love the UK. I think they got some dope artists. Like their swag is definitely different.
Swag is different. Oh wait, I think we got a guest.
First guest.
This is some Mr. Rogers stuff right here, yo. we got our first.
We got the Alamo, little Malbec. Entrepreneur of the week stopping by.
Now, come on in. We got our first guest ever.
Hey, how's it going, man? How are you?
Pretty good.
Myles, nice to meet you, Myles. Pleasure, man.
Come over and sit.
Where
can he sit, Myles?
Right in the middle. Let's go.
Don't mess up my beautiful plant.
All right.
It's beautiful. I know.
You're not mess her up.
I know. We turn the heat on too.
True, yo.
No, you're good. It's like some Mr. Rogers stuff.
Come on over. We just talking about.
Come on, sit on down. We just talking about this hip hop scene, and let us introduce one of my best friends ever in life. I met. I don't know. You want to go by Sonny? Or you want to go by Sonny? I met Sonny at the airport. That sounds kind of weird. But I met Sonny at DC airport when I had a space there in 2017, and I had a kiosk there that was pretty much a annex of having local vendors and designers and makers of all disciplines to showcase their work. And Sonny pulled up on me that one day. Was it like in January or something? No, it couldn't have been January.
It was warm. It was.
It was.
So I remember.
It was so it had to be like August, whatever. Like it was summertime.
Cool.
And Sonny came. I was like, "Yo, this dude's cool as hell, man. How the hell did you find me?" I'm like, "Okay, this is cool." And we just been rocking ever since. He told me what he was about, and it's just been a great friendship.
I'm not gonna lie, I love to see that, honestly, because as black men, a lot of times, like, our friendships are kind of on the low. Like, they don't never put that in the forefront where, like, black men can be very loyal to each other. It's not always this backbiting or hating or anything like that. Like, I see so much love, but it's good that we have a platform to put that out there. You know what I'm saying?
So let's
hear about you.
Allow you to reintroduce yourself.
Well, thank you, brother. Man, I appreciate that. Thank you guys for having me here this evening with you. My name is Sonny. I go by Sonny, and I was raised in New York City. Here, transplant in the DMV, and living out in Maryland, beautiful, beautiful state of Maryland. And I have been in the space of like men's grooming, and developing that craft and really concentrating on that industry professionally for the last 5 years. and really just kind of buried down in my head into the culture of what we all know as the barbershop, we all know and love, but also digging deeper and discovering like where are the areas that we can innovate and kind of challenge the very industry and culture that we do love and enjoy, and what does the next 10, 15 years look like for us. And so I, was kind of been on this journey of self-discovery and understanding self-care and understanding, to your point, what does it mean as a Black man to take care of self,
Exactly.
right, while maintaining my relationships with my best friends, and while maintaining relationships with family, and also taking care of my mental. And so a lot of that has been brought me to the point of the chair, which is a significant place.
Is that the name of it?
No, the name of it is GroomGuy.
I
Sorry,
like that.
forgive me. The name of the company is GroomGuy.
And where's it located?
And we're located in Washington, D.C., and Yours Truly Hotel in downtown.
Ooh.
So we decided we came together with my brother Amir on this concept, that both with his design influence and then me kind of being able to conceptualize, like, once again, where do we want to push this thing forward. GroomGuy came alive in the pivot of the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we all had to move and shift.
Most definitely.
A lot of the very industries we all know and love, everybody had to figure out new solutions, right, to these temporary problems.
Yes, sir.
And so we were like, well, hey, why not we become a lifeline to the hospitality industry?
Man, I enjoy that. I think what I'm hearing the most is that entrepreneurship is the synergy here.
Of course.
And the thing that I get from like grooming is that it actually takes a lot of mental stability to want to stay on top of your hygiene. And one of the things that I feel like you can tell somebody's mental isn't really there is when they start to let themselves kind of go. And when I see clean cut brothers, I know mental is, clear. They taking care of themselves, they focus, they moving. So to be at the forefront of that industry, you probably run into a lot of guys who have their mind right, entrepreneur, maybe really nice paying jobs, educated, like tell me about a lot of your clientele. Who are you focused on?
Sure. So on the baseline of that, yes, to your point, we do have a lot of people who are, you'd say, who are well off, or young professionals, right? Have a certain level of certainty about themselves, say they know what they want, and also we wanted to create a new standard, if you will, right? What does premium service look like for stepping into this space? I was greatly inspired by companies like Nike, great companies like Apple. And how do we make something that's design wise, that's easy for people to feel like there's enough space, makes them feel safe, comfortable, and transparent. So it's a boutique, you know what I mean?
Now, Sonny, I was just with you the other day, and you had this amazing gathering of local groomers or hospitality barbers. And it was simply amazing. He did this all by himself. He invited these. He had this thing. He had this cocktail called the Kickback over at Yours Truly Hotel, and he invited different barbers and groomers to come through, and they came through and supported, and they all were able to speak with each other and network, as you like to say, and it was simply beautiful. What gives you the ideas to do things like that, especially on you had no help at all. You did it, you executed it to a T, and it was beautiful.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. A lot of it is offline, hearing from my very colleagues, right? A lot of it is being solution driven, right? So GroomGuy is very much an agency too, right? Because you would, in the space of an agency, you hire an agent or someone to fix or solve a problem, right?
Definitely.
And so that's kind of where we want to continue to move and push the needle of this company, right? So to your point, when we hear about the pandemic and how there was just there was an exhaustion from a lot of barbers and owners and stylists and colorists who aren't able to come together, but yet they're still being asked to come to work every day and cut hair. They're still being asked to do all of these things to provide for the very people, right? And they're committed to, but what's being given to them?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we spend all of these times as hairdressers, as barbers, and colorists to hear your stories, right? As clients who come and see us every day. But the biggest question is, I think someone always said, was who's there to hear ours? Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to be able to give a space, an area for, these playmakers, if you will, community playmakers, I like to call them, and say, look, like, where are you at? How are you feeling? How can we be a support group to you?
Support group.
And then what does this circle of influence look like, right? Without feeling like I'm not selling anything. This isn't some promo thing that you see. This is just merely about how are you doing.
That's what's up. I mean, you very rarely, like growing up, when I used to have to go to the barbershop, right? I had to mentally get myself prepared for the foolishness that was going to be going on at the shop.
Yeah, somebody selling you a master.
So it's amazing to have that thought of, man, I got a space where it used to be toxic, but now you creating spaces where people can actually feel at home and feel relaxed and feel comfortable, not feel badgered. Like you said, the guy bursting in DVDs. We got, it's like,
nobody got time for that.
We good.
But we gotta understand, it's no disrespect.
Right.
It's no disrespect to those, because everybody has their place. Mm-hmm. But as I've gotten older, I mean, I started going to grooming lounges at like 27 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm 43 now, so I started going there at 27 years old, and I noticed a difference as far as just the service that was given. Not saying the other service was not. Right. I just wanted a different. I want somebody to bring me like from Hennessy while I'm getting my hair cut. That sounds good to me. I'll pay $50. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be like, yo, I got you next, and that's cool. That's gangster, but I just wanted it to be a different type of experience. And that's all what it's about. And GroomGuy and Sonny are providing a different type of experience. You're talking about like in a hotel,
right?
That's unheard of,
right?
It's unheard of, and the way that it's been done has been done in a way that is thoughtful. It is very intimate, and is extremely it's cultural. But it also has an element of cool.
You need that.
You need all those things. So he's killing it. He has the art. He has the books from Japan, the magazines from Japan, and all these different things that make up GroomGuy, which I've seen with my own eyes. Like I've seen it start with my own eyes. I've seen this. So I'm able to be like, yo.
This is dope.
This is dope. Like this is dope.
I think what's crazy to me too is like understanding like that so much starts from just an idea.
Yeah.
Like your mind can literally animate anything you really want to do. Mm-hmm. And it's just so good to have an outlet to actually hear people who've conceptualized in their mind and then you actualized in real life. Yeah. So, man, hats off to you.
I appreciate it.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I was talking yesterday. I told my girl about this, and I said, "Do you know how crazy it was to invent a plane? Do you know how crazy it was to invent electricity? Do you know how crazy it was to invent shoes?" She was like, "Well, why did they do?" I said, "They just tapped in." I said, "We all have that potential to tap in." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like they just tapped into something. I don't know what the hell it was to create a plane.
Yeah. I don't know. I think necessity is it forces you.
But a plane?
I know.
Yeah. How do you think of a plane, dog?
Yeah. You want to get somewhere fast.
Do you know how many people was like, yo,
y'all
are crazy. Y'all are super crazy.
And many people, and when they tried to test it out too, many people died. You know what I mean? It was one of those things that like it was a lot on the line that you had to sacrifice, right?
You know what I mean?
And that's the biggest.
That's the biggest thing.
It's like when you want to create and think big, especially as black males. How far are you willing to sacrifice for it? And how much help are you going to ask for it? My brother Amir, I had to ask for help, you know what I mean, when I had this idea. It wasn't just me. It was a community of us. And then it started to really take shape and form. But we've also got to put our guards down in our community. Where it's like, wait a minute. I may have a part of it, but there's somebody else that I know that could help me complete this idea.
Most definitely.
You know, and trust each other on that. And when the trust is there, and you build on something, you can fly. You
can fly. You know what I mean?
I love that, man, because it's like our guards are up to the point sometimes where like, because like I've been in business for years as well, so I've had partnerships. You know what I'm saying? Where everything seemed so good. Like everybody seemed like they was in your corner. Everything was going well. Then you find out it was some trickery in the contract.
Trickery.
You know, and then intellectual property is stolen, and then this thing you gave 2 years of your life is now boom vanished. You know, so it's like it breeds like being an entrepreneur breeds trust issues.
Sure,
but it also breeds that mind of how can I vet faster? You know, how can I mentally walk in a room, see somebody and understand, okay, this person's BS, but this person's genuine. You know, this person is literally giving me the real, and I know the real when I see the real. So it's like the L's make you so much sharper anyway. So it's like if you want to be
go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just
no. If you want to be in business, you have to be prepared that all of it is a risk. Like you said, the risk might not be your actual life. It could be your financial life. And that's just as devastating sometimes.
I mean, we all have families, wives, things of that nature. So, you know, and it takes it takes a village. And to be able to have that type of support is key. But the biggest support is supporting one another, and that's why I was so gung-ho on Sonny when he called me. I was like, yo, like he's the perfect remember I told you, like he's the perfect person.
Definitely.
And we're doing this series, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it is, we're highlighting entrepreneurs, and we're not stagnant to young or old or black or we're just highlighting entrepreneurs.
Good.
Who are doing amazing things, and they're starting up from the ground level. And that's very, very important because we're moving in such a corporate world. And nothing wrong with corporate. Don't get me wrong. They help pay my bills. Somebody buys some art. I need to keep that corporate job.
Yeah.
You keep that. You know what I'm saying? Keep that corporate. I need to buy that work. You know what I mean? But it's just very important that there's a balance, and that's all I'm saying. Just a balance with corporate and entrepreneurship and all those different things make a nice mix. You know what I mean?
So then here's my question to you, Sonny. What was the biggest lesson that you've learned thus far?
What was the biggest lesson I learned thus far? I will say that you've got to be flexible with yourself, man. Like, you could write things down and have a plan and follow the YouTube channel of what the other person advised you to do and pay this professional, but you can't be afraid to sculpt while you're, you know what I mean? While you watch things take shape while you're still moving. You know, a lot of us we freak out. You know, we freeze up.
So is it that quote like Bruce Lee? Be like water.
Be like water. You do. You gotta be like water.
If you can't, the rigidness will break. But if you can flex and bend like the bamboo, you can survive any weather.
And listen, this brother knows. There's times where I've called him. You know, we've had conversations, long conversations about things that I'm going through with it, especially in the early beginnings, and likewise, you know, being each other's support group. And but it was those very conversations that allowed me to kind of think back, reflect, maybe switch up, reposition some things, right? So that was definitely one of the biggest challenges. One of the biggest things I learned was to your quote, Bruce Lee.
So, in the new terms, they're calling that pivoting.
Right, you got it.
But you wanna stay on for the show? We got some interesting topics. If you wanna stay on and chill, I got some wine and
You got some
things like
wine? I'm gonna have to jet pretty soon.
Oh my God.
But I'm gonna kick it. I'll kick it for y'all.
Yeah, kick it for a second. You want some wine or anything?
I got something here. I'm gonna grab my little drink there.
What the hell is that?
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? My little Thai tea.
Yeah, little chai tea.
Gets me right.
He's being healthy for the sponsors.
Yeah, man, gets me right.
Where did you get that chai tea from?
From a place in downtown called Soy 38.
Soy 38. What up?
38. They said carry me. Good people.
Soy 38. I need to be sponsoring this. We
Yes.
all drink healthy. Yo.
They
What
are
up?
open until noon. I think 11 a.m.
Yeah, Soy 38. Soy 38. What up, Joe?
Yes.
All right. So
All right, next topic. I mean, we're gonna jump right in, keep things moving.
yeah.
Let's you know what? Let's go back to the takeoff situation because it's like I said, it's one of them things where we see these things happen, and it's almost like it's in slow motion. Like you can almost know every couple of months when you hear somebody in that industry has been taken away by violence. It's not necessarily a shock anymore. Like for me, I'm just like, who was it? I'm not necessarily shocked that it happened. I'm like, what name now is attached to the violence? You know?
You know, it's unfortunate. You know, you're looking at Young Dolph before that, and what's the young brother, PNB Rock.
Yeah, he just.
And you're looking at some other, I forgot the young lady's name that was out of Memphis. And it just goes, I don't want to go through the list, but rest in peace to all these people. But the main thing in all of this is that we got to understand is that we have to take some responsibility for the music that is being put out. People say, well, it's just no, it doesn't work like that. It works as the fact that you're putting out things that are negative. Yeah. Now your life, I get it. I understand. It's a bad things happen to you, but every song should not be a representation of your bad situation. You know, back in the day, hip hop was different. You got about 12, 13 songs, maybe 14 if you're lucky. You got you got your hard joints. You got your joints for your ladies. You got your lyrical joints, and you got like some throwaways. To be honest with you,
Right?
You know what I'm saying? And now every single song is about just the same old thing, that same old beat. That beat in is very. I wouldn't say it's destructive, but hip hop is for young people. It's for young people.
Tell me this then, because I feel like life now is powered by AI, and people literally, like, if you're a business executive, you're not going to keep putting money in things that are not working. So at some point, you got to understand, I got to feed the algorithm. I'm not going to feed the algorithm something that they not really eating on. I'm gonna feed the algorithm like some Popeye's chicken. You know they going, they crunching. They coming by every week to get that Popeyes, to get that whatever it is that they love from that consumption. So at what point do you have to say, why do the people crave this so bad?
The people crave it so bad is because the people that are running it are just about the paper. It has nothing to do anymore about the culture of hip hop. Hip hop is not just rap. Hip hop has 4 different elements.
Break it down.
Well, you got graffiti, you got MCing, you got b-boying, and you got rap.
So why is rap the only thing now that's like seen as culturally valuable?
Because it's part of the feed the algorithm.
You just answered. You answered it, and it's the most easily digested.
I feel you, but my thing is I put some onus on the executives as well, because think about it. You a young kid, you got this hit that just blew up on like YouTube or SoundCloud, whatever they listening to. Mm-hmm. And then a exec come talk to you and they like, look, we got a mill for you. Make us 15 of these because we know we're going to be able to make 10, 15 mil off of yours in the next year or two.
Right.
At what point are you literally dangling a steak in front of somebody that's literally starving?
Well, that's the problem. The problem is that the people who are running it don't give a damn about it at all. So therefore, when you're talking to your Master P's, your babies, your what's the dude from Kendrick Lamar? What's that?
Top Dog.
TDE and all these other independent labels, you have to support them. You got to support them, because what will happen is the big companies are just going to force you to be food. These rappers are food, and they don't even know it.
Most definitely. And it's even crazier, like, when you get into the thought of when they put life insurance policies on these young men.
To be honest with you,
everybody has a life.
Everybody's have a life insurance policy.
You do.
Like, come on now, let's be real.
And see, but I want to be, because sometimes I like to dig a little bit deep. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say you put a couple mil on a young dude to pop off.
Right.
His song's doing well.
Right.
You know, he doing some shows. He's getting some money.
Right.
But it's not recouping as fast as you had anticipated. Doesn't it make sense that some of these situations are orchestrated?
Allegedly. This is
allegedly, of course.
It's all alleged.
Allegedly. Doesn't it make sense that if you got 20 million sitting on his life, it's just like putting a hit on somebody. Like, if the streets know that it's 100 bands on this person's head, and you might work the whole year and only make 30, 40 at your regular job, somebody might just get hungry enough to take that.
Do you think the record industry is that sinister? God, Jesus.
I do.
That's sick.
I do.
Nah, because we don't have that same issue with country music.
And that's what
that same issue, because we have to remember hip hop is rooted in, and that's poverty. Right? The idea of not having. And then how there's a corporate infrastructure, right, that we're essentially talking about. We're talking about executives who have temporary jobs, and their whole success is only predicated by what degree they're willing to go off a black life, right, and what they're willing to put at risk. And there's no concentration on when you sign that young man or young lady on accounting, or what their career is looking like afterwards. Right, what their structure is like, they don't care about that. It's a corporate infrastructure you are signing yourself to, which is all connected and rooted in, like we said, poverty. So the idea of, I'm going to take from that brother who's got who's valued at 20 million. I'm going to take Nipsey Hussle's life. I'm going to take so and so, somebody else's life. But on the flip side of all of this, guys, I think what we have to also understand is we're only talking about one section of hip hop. Hip hop is vast. Mm-hmm. So for us to come with a linear view on just hip hop alone, this culture, yes, this what we're talking about, in relation to Takeoff, Migos is a dominant. But there's so many other artists out there who are putting out great music, who never have to look over their shoulders, right? Because of the quality of hip hop music that they produce.
Most definitely.
Right? So in this dominant commercialized faction of hip hop, yes, this is a problem. But hip hop as a whole, no, it's too layered. It's too layered for us to have.
Too layered, and that's
No, you good.
And that's what they want you to believe, that this one form of hip hop is dominating everything, and that's the problem. Like Saint said, you still have these amazing groups and artists that are still touring the world, that are older, that are doing amazing work, and they're being respected and they're being embraced by all different cultures, all different races, all around the world, and they're 40, 30, 40, 50 plus. Big Daddy Kane still touring, Redman still touring, Method Man still touring, Snoop Dogg still touring. Scarface still touring. Eminem, if you feel like it's still touring. But then when we say, about these younger, I gotta be honest with you, almost one-hit wonders. Not Takeoff, of course, because he
had a good career.
Oh, he had an amazing career. He changed the whole sound in Atlanta rap.
Most definitely.
They're gonna go down in history. Did we all like them when they first came out? I did, but some people are like, yo, what is this? But that's relative. They still have an imprint forever. Their sound was amazing. And what you get when you're dealing with these different and I don't know what their relationship was with the J Princes, and I don't even want to name these people, but it seemed to me as if they felt that they were good going to Houston. Now I just want to break that as real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The party was hosted by who?
J Prince.
Okay, the party was by J Prince.
Mm-hmm. Well, his son, I believe.
Okay, his son, J Prince Jr., Jazz J, whoever the hell it was. It was a private party, correct?
It was.
It's a private party. So at a private party, what normally happens? Don't you know pretty much everybody at the private party?
Yeah.
Okay, you know everybody. Pretty much. There may be a couple of women that sneak through. I didn't see that big booty joint sneak through, but she can come. She's more than welcome. So why? And I get it. It's Houston. People got guns. That's just how they roll out there. It's Texas. It's Texas. They ain't playing. But in that situation, how did it get to that where we all under the same tree? Everybody knows each other. Everybody probably knew each other. They were like, yo, I may not know him, but if he was Jazz or Jay or whoever this dude is, then we all cool. We ain't beefing and shit. Like I might smack him in the face. We're not even going that far. We're not even smacking nobody. It's like, yo, dog, we all here together. Chill, dog, chill. How do you get to a point where someone is shooting in a public setting?
At a private event.
At a public setting, at a private event. How did it get to that?
I can question it. I'm not
Go
gonna
ahead.
lie.
I want
Because for me, I look at it and I'm like, it makes some type of sense if you think about it from a spiritual aspect. Because a lot of people don't like to put, like, for me personally, I don't celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
I view it as like a pagan holiday. I view it as something that is surrounded around an energy that is demonic. And if we look at everything just from a flesh surface level, it does look like, wow, this was just stupid. This makes absolutely no sense. But if you look at it one level deeper, the spiritual side of it is what happens on Santeria. What happens during All Hallows Eve. These things have lineages that are actually deeper and much older and much richer than even our current culture. So a lot of times when I look at it, I think of, okay, this actual day begs for blood. Like, I don't know if you heard about the 3 people that went missing in Mexico on Halloween.
Of course I did. I just heard about it from shout out to Willie D.
So many of these. Like, let's just say this: if you go back,
2 girls. Two guys and a girl.
Yep. If you go back every Halloween, the murder rate literally raises in every city just on that one day alone. So to think like you're at this private event. It's not nothing spiritual going on at this event. Like, people aren't in the frame of mind of like, let's give praise to the Most High. That's not happening, So it's like, obviously, maybe there's some marijuana involved. Maybe there's a lot of drinking and intoxication going on. So those spirits, when they get a chance to move and fester in that environment, sometimes that demonic thing can just flip a switch on somebody, and what would on another regular day might have just been a bad argument. Maybe even somebody got punched or whatever. And then we walk off, whatever, name calling. But this day demands blood. Halloween demands blood. All Hallows Eve is literally what they call a spiritual purge. So it's like, it's not uncommon if you think spiritually as to what's actually deeper happening. But nobody likes to understand that music is spiritual. Every vibration, every kilowatt is programmed to make your body have a feeling. And a lot of times, like, people don't equate water to their body. Your physical body is 90% water.
Come on now.
So if you have a vibration that's pumping through it, you have to understand, is that vibration toxic or is that vibration edifying? Because if the toxicity is high, then you add another toxicity, which is maybe some hard alcohol or spirits. Then you throw another toxicity, maybe some pills, maybe some marijuana. Then another toxicity, you got the lust of the flesh, beautiful women running around, the ego's going crazy. And then you throw another, it's Halloween. Come on. It's a recipe for disaster. Some days, I just know for a fact you don't do this. You don't go out on these days just because spiritually your mind is telling you, is it worth it? Like on Halloween, matter of fact, I was driving home from work and I saw a car behind me. All these kids in the car with these like rave lights, the little neon lights. They in the car just going crazy, swerving in and out of traffic. And I'm like, they're on their way to destruction. And they're not even conscious of the fact that whatever that music is playing in the car, like, and you could almost, just by the way they were driving, you could tell it was like whatever they was listening to was getting them turned up for the event they was about to attend. And they just gave no care about their life. You swerving in and out of traffic. It had lightly just rained. I'm like, so the roads are slippery. It's tractor trailers out here at night. I'm like, come on. Y'all on the highway swerving like this is like...
Buddy. It goes back to that point about accountability that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Accountability on all fronts. Not even just the music and the executives and the orchestrators, but the performers themselves, right? Taking a look at their lives and at what degree and how fast you're living. Because in those artists at that level, you're living such a fast life. And you're wearing these chains, but not realizing that those chains come with a heavy burden. You know what I mean?
100K on your neck.
Right? You're saying other words and you're making gun references and you're doing all of these things on this part of hip hop. Listen, it's gonna cost you, and at some point it may not be your life, right? And in some cases like this, it may. Some people are playing Russian roulette too much as some of these top tier rap artists, not realizing that this is not normal behavior. It's not normal. It's not going out to the club and dodging bullets and man, that was crazy, man, laughing it off, or getting shot and walking it off and think that's a bad job. That's not normal life.
No, it's not normal life, and it's sad. But but we're gonna move right along. We're gonna talk about this Kyrie Irving situation.
The Kyrie Irving situation.
And we're just gonna talk about as far as.
And rest in peace to Takeoff and his, all the people that are hurting from seeing this tragic situation.
They asked Takeoff. They said, I believe, I forgot who the person was, but they asked him. They said, were you on the Bad and Bougie song? He said, did it sound like I was on the Bad and Bougie song?
And a good brother, real quick, a good brother mentioned this. I want to say the brother's full name.
Yes,
his name is Takeoff, but out of respect, it was Kershnik Kyrie Ball. Okay. Right? So respect and rest in peace to Kershnik
Kyrie Ball. Yeah.
His mother gave him that name. So
Kershnik Kyrie Ball.
Respect.
Word up, yo. You know what I
So,
mean?
transitioning to the Kyrie situation. The first thing that literally pops into my mind is buck breaking. It goes straight there for me, like I'm not one to mince words, because like honestly being an entrepreneur, being in this position, because I've worked for corporate, I understand when you walk into an environment where somebody is paying you your check, there is a power dynamic, whether you want to, like, I'm sorry, it is.
That's what it is.
So it's like, I've had people maybe, come to me during my corporate time where they would be like, "Oh, we must be paying you too much because that's a nice car you got there."
Oh.
And I'm like,
"Oh,
what does that? I'm doing my job. I'm coming on time.
That's sick."
But it's this thing where I feel like they own Kyrie. Like, you're the owner of the team, but it's also ownership of my pawns, my players. Like, I put this point guard on the field, like on the court. I put this center on the court. I put, like, he's up in that owner's box, and then they call it an owner's box. You in the owner's box, you looking down on your employees that you pay millions and millions of dollars. They're well paid, but at the same time, there is this level of you not allowed to do anything that's going to make me look bad.
What's really strange is that people say, well, he's not allowed to say that on corporate time. When does he ever get a time off of corporate time? When are you not a part of corporate time? When do I become a person who's able to speak freely as a man or a woman, whatever you want to call, whatever it is, them, hit, or I don't know. But when do you ever say, yo, I ain't on corporate time right now? So are you telling me that every day of my life I'm on corporate time? That don't even make sense. So you control me every day. Because if I say one thing, that's affecting the business. But when am I off the business time? My business time should be 9 to 5. Is there a time where I can say, yo, yeah, I tweeted this is at 12 o'clock in the morning. I was drunk as fuck on a Saturday. No, you were on corporate time. So I'm always a part of corporate time?
But if you look at the if you look at the contract, they sell their likeness in perpetuity.
That's fine.
So
that's part of the deal.
So the owner is saying, because I gave you $30 million, you have to. Your mouth only speaks what I want you to speak. You're a puppet.
Well, that's the game then. Well, if that's what he signed, then he got to live up to that joint. Word up. Then he don't got. He's saying what he's saying, and I love what he's saying. But if he signed that deal for that, then that's on that man and shit. And he got to live up to that.
And like Kwame Brown, like he was saying.
Oh, this is man Kwame Brown?
Yeah, I love Kwame. like Kwame say, like, it's certain things when you take that money, when you take them millions, they pay you to be quiet.
Yes, sir.
So
sure do.
During your ball playing time, you're not allowed to speak.
Not allowed to speak.
You're not allowed to say anything non-corporate related. You know what I'm saying? So once your corporate is over, then like Kwame Brown was like, go along, get along.
Come on now, come on, go along, get along game.
So it's like you can see it. You can see it in real time.
Yes,
the go along, get along game
is real.
Came out so strong versus Kwame. Versus definitely Kwame.
Come on now,
Kyrie as well. Like seeing Shannon Sharp.
Oh God,
saying what he said, and it was like on some level you can understand like. Okay, you gotta go for bat for who's paying you. You gotta,
of course,
you gotta understand like this is a corporate game. We sign up to take these millions to promote a brand.
Of
you know
course.
what I'm saying? Everything is a brand. The Brooklyn Nets is a brand.
Of course it is.
ESPN, that's a brand.
Yeah.
So it's like we see what Kyrie is literally sacrificing to bring truth to the forefront, but it's like whose truth are you being paid to uphold? Because if it's not your truth, then you can't complain when somebody takes away what's theirs.
Yeah, but you gotta understand what you said. It's a sacrifice. A sacrifice is not easy.
Yeah.
A sacrifice is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's sacrificing. They're like, yeah, that's an easy sacrifice. You know what I mean? It's like, it's something that's going to take you out of the normal situation. So if Kyrie Irving is sacrificing something, then he got to go through sacrificial things. And we can decide to ride with Kyrie or whatever it is, but Kyrie has decided to do this. And one thing I don't like is people say, well, he got enough money, he's straight. I don't know how much Kyrie Irving money. I don't know. Kyrie could have
You can't count his
$5 in his bank account. I don't know. If Kyrie ever said he wanted to get $10 million in the bank, I bet he couldn't. I bet Kyrie could not go to the bank right now and say, I want $10 million. He'd get 5 phone calls from 5 different investors. Say, why? So it's not as cut and dry as we think with this, and he's willing to sacrifice whatever he's doing to, I don't know what his cause is. I don't know why he's doing it. It could be on a Colin Kaepernick level. It could be on a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar level. It could be on a Muhammad Ali level. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that he is willing to go through the fire, and whatever goes through that is what it is, right?
I mean, my thing is too, like, I feel like they was out to get him from last year.
Yeah.
Because the fact that he stood up and was like, all right, I'm not going to take whatever the jab. So it's like, why would we police another man's body anyway? You know, like, if you want to take it, that's on you. But if another person doesn't want to, why are we saying let's destroy your livelihood?
Okay.
Let's knock off everything that you have just because you won't acquiesce to our demand. Now, if he, like he said, he took his punishment. He sat down. He lost $15 million in one contract year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bread. I'm sure his management was like, "Come on, son, like, please."
All right. But okay, how many Instagram followers can we ever have?
I know it's in the middle.
Okay. Let's just say 10 million. Let's just say. I'm sure it's more than that. Do you know how much it was to that pharmaceutical companies cost to take the jab? You know how much it is each jab that pharmaceutical companies cost that are written off by grants and things of that nature?
Mm-hmm.
It's about $200-300. Probably a little bit more. I'm gonna go under it. Let's just say 1 million people. Let's just say in New York City alone, say I ain't taking it because Kyrie Irving said I'm standing for Kyrie. You got 300-400 people. I mean, you got about 1 million people. Let's say 1 million people. At $300 a shot, how much is that? About $300 million. Right?
Yeah, that's a lot of money to cost.
Okay, that's 1 million people. It had nothing to do with him not taking it. It had more to do with the You have to follow the money.
Yeah.
It had nothing. You got $300 million that people be like, yo, I ain't taking this Kyrie. 1 million people say I ain't taking it because he ain't taking it. That's only one. I don't even know fraction that I failed in that, but 1% of the people out of his 10 million people said that they weren't going to take it. $300 million for one man? Do you understand what nothing to do? They don't give a fuck. Excuse me. They don't give a doggone if he's taking it or not. It's about the money.
The influence.
Yeah. And that's why they keep doubling back because they say that he has so much influence.
Yes.
That Netflix, and I don't want to name it because I don't have time for that because they're not paying us.
Right.
But that documentary has gone up tenfold.
Oh, yeah.
That dude's 100 millionaire probably now.
If they would have ignored it, it would have never gotten this much controversy.
It's
like
number
6 on Amazon.
It's number 6 on Amazon. What is number 1? I imagine. What is number 1?
Birkenstocks, probably.
What the heck is that?
Birkenstocks. The little slip-on shoes. Oh, you talking about like items or just like movies?
No, movies.
Oh, movies.
She said Birkenstocks. I never heard of it.
I don't know, maybe like 10 Commandments.
Okay. This dude is set for life.
Yeah.
It probably took him $100,000 to make that documentary.
No, $8,000.
It took him. Oh my God! It took him $8,000.
Yeah, Kyrie done made that movie back at.
Yo,
But that's the
it took him
influence.
8,000. How you get that fast? Who told you that?
And that was literally what he said.
Oh my
And
God.
And then guess
Yo!
what? All the Pan-Africanism and all the intellectuals on YouTube are now, all of them stories are now pressing it and pushing
Oh
it
my
forward.
God, $8,000?
You know what I mean?
Duh.
Minister Farrakhan, everybody talking about it.
And this man has made how much think he made?
I don't know because
last month. How much think he made?
I know it went from, I forgot what it was priced before this, but I know it's like $59 to buy it and like $11.99 to rent it. So
It's $59 to buy it.
it's $59 to buy it.
How much?
And he got 3 or 4 books too.
Just
Out of here. He's
Just,
outta here.
just give me a rough. I'm like, just give me a rough estimate. How much you think he made in the last three weeks?
At least 2-3 mil. At
To get a
least.
meal?
Yeah, I think he got it now.
$8,000 to 2 to 3 mil. He changed his life.
Off a repost, not even.
He didn't even brand it. He just said one click. Like,
You know what's crazy?
check it
And
out.
everybody else isn't talking. They're not dropping the actual name, the title, right? Like ESPN will never drop.
Oh yeah, they not gonna say the name.
No one's ever saying the name, and I think that element to it is also what's selling,
It's
right?
mysterious.
Because it allows people to dig, and we love to
Ooh.
dig.
Yeah.
We love digging,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because we do it with TMZ and everything
Of
else
course.
all day, right? So the fact that they're not even going to say the name, but we have our phones, so we're going to do what we do. You know what I mean? And it's giving us truth. It continues to feed black people truth.
It's
You
wild.
talking about that? A thing that we're always on the path of
Searching for.
self-discovery
Mhm.
for.
We always
We're constantly
are. We are
searching for
searching
that. And but right, you would never stop. This is different. This is definitely different for now. I hope and ask that the brother Kyrie is also having a circle of people around him,
Everybody.
right?
Definitely.
Advisors, scholars, intellectuals, just those who have spent their whole career studying this. That way, they can show him how to communicate this effectively.
Exactly.
Because now he's in a very tender space where he's like, man, okay, I got people
Really
this thing
watching.
moving,
Yeah,
moving
watching.
and watching me.
Yeah.
So I hope that he has people, maybe they even civil rights leaders, former, just there. You know what I mean? To give him some play because he's still young. And there's
30 years old.
there's a lot of charisma that comes with that, and energy, and speaking by the heart, and sometimes that can
Knock you
cloud,
out.
that can cloud your
Yeah.
judgment.
Do you understand that Kyrie Irving has hit on two of the most controversial topics in the last 30 to 40 years?
Yeah.
COVID, refusing to get the jab. Then the Jays,
Mhm.
and talking about that. Do you understand? That's back to back.
They can't stand them.
So-
They want them gone.
But
They want him out. They want him all the way out.
yeah, but I think that he will retire. And he's going to retire, and guess what's going to happen? Kyrie going to be 60 doggone years old, and everybody going to love Kyrie like they love Muhammad Ali.
Exactly.
They going to say, God, he was a great man.
They making his legend now.
They make it like that. They going to say, damn, he was a great man. Because the boy got scared. Ain't like he a bum.
Right.
Ain't like he on the bench.
Well, and also he played at the highest level.
The
right?
highest
We have
level.
to remember the NBA is the highest form of
Yes, sir.
basketball. So even to that point, the brother has also. Let's say he does leave.
He's
he
a
has
beast.
options.
Yeah, he
He can
definitely.
go to Big Three and rock with Ice Cube.
Or
He
China
don't wanna
can
go to
overseas.
China.
Nah, just leave.
Right, he can leave altogether. But I'm saying when you play at that highest form, you also got to deal with the highest level of consequences.
Yeah.
Who is given
Right.
much as expected.
Exactly. And so that also means you're dealing with an institution that you're going up against.
Mhm.
And an institution is packed with reinforcement, it's packed with paperwork, and they're packed with lawyers. And your $10 million ain't going
Yeah,
to an
nah.
institution. Right?
That's him, and they're gonna laugh at that.
Come on now. We've seen this before.
That's
We've
joke
seen
money.
this game before.
Yeah.
That's super joke. I mean,
We gave you
I
the
mean,
money.
to us.
If we gave you the money, how much you think we got?
Exactly. And that's how. But same thing goes to Ye. You was worth $11 billion with these strategic connections.
right.
But if we take your distribution away, even your brand now is worth significantly less, because how you gonna get it to the people? You know, that's why he was going off on Sway. Like, you don't got the answer, Sway, and this, that, and the third, because Sway didn't calculate how long it takes to build infrastructure. So when somebody has an infrastructure already built and then they license your creativity, your path to millions or billions is much shorter than if you have to actually create the manufacturers, create the pipelines, create the relationships with each individual store. Like, it takes forever. It's not that it can't be done.
Yeah.
It's just the path is much longer.
I think, I can only speak for myself. If I can have 3 locations, I'm not a millionaire, billionaire, whatever you want to say. Kanye West could easily do pop-ups or buy real estate. See, that's his problem.
What he's done?
He needs to buy retail real estate.
Oh yeah.
So he could create his own stores, Yeezy stores.
There's a critique to that for me, because like when you on the business side of it and you have retail, there also comes a significant amount of uncertainty, because just like COVID happened, boom. Now what if people can't get to your stores for the next 2 years?
Yeah.
These things are so uncertain that you take a gamble like that and don't really, like, because you say you got $1 billion or you got a couple $100 million, but you find yourself in 20, 30 different locations.
Yeah, you're right.
You really spreading yourself.
You're right. You're right.
Them M's can disappear like
real fast.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You talk about.
He can also buy advisors and a team. He can afford a team.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be Kanye West. It's going to be Kanye West and his team.
Corporation,
right?
Yeah.
So
he got to become corporate.
He has to be in corporate.
Yeah, I mean, raising funds for Kanye West is very easy, right? I'm sure there's other companies now that would even, as crazy as it sounds, that still want to take him on.
Yeah.
Would you, if Kanye West decided to have an IPO for Yeezy, like Yeezy's like Gap, like Adidas, like anything, would you invest in the Yeezy IPO?
No.
Me personally, I would.
Yeah. Yeezy or not Kanye West?
No, like Yeezy's like Gap.
Yeah.
So if Yeezy has stores all around like McDonald's,
I'm following you.
Would you, and the stock started at, let's say, $85 a share?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
I would too.
Let's do it.
I would. I mean, because my thing is, at the end of the day, the intangible is creating something desired by the people.
Yep.
Corporations can't make the intangible. Like, you see Adidas all the time. They have all of the infrastructure, all of the power, all the distribution, but can they create something that has a demand as bad as what Kanye can do?
No.
That's why the creative has the ultimate power in a form, but corporate has created a power structure that supersedes the creative.
Right.
You're right. If it wasn't for Kanye West, you could book it. Just go to GroomGuy.
Yeah, shout out to Sonny. Thank you for stopping by.
GroomGuy.
GroomGuy. We're gonna end it up here. Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been like our first podcast. We really appreciate y'all tuning in. As you can see, we're not afraid to tackle the topics. We're gonna bring it intellectual. We're gonna have conversations about entertainment. We're gonna talk business. And it's just going to be a free-flowing type of thing. Nothing too structured, just good conversation with good people. Until next time, peace. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and turn that bell notification on if you want more podcasts like this. Peace.